the concept of no pain, no gain, throw it out the window. It's garbage. It's garbage. I was a personal trainer before I started teaching pole dance. And when I would train people and Hello, welcome to episode 4 of Pole Dance Rants. I'm Vina with StudioVina.com, a website where you can learn to pole dance at home with me. Today's rant is talking about self-care for pole dancers. And I'm kind of excited about this one because I have a lot of fun goodies for you. I think I have about 7 points that I'm going to cover today. And I want to first start off with those tips for people who are new. Specifically, I want to talk about bruising. So you're new to pole dance, you've been going to pole class, or you've been taking my online tutorials, and if you have been using my website, you should find that you don't have what I call excessive bruising or super sore muscles for an excessive amount of time. So what do I mean by that? By excessive, I mean like covered and they're just not healing. You're continuously using that same area and it's just getting to the point where it's so painful that you don't want to go to class or you don't want to do your session. This is not normal. This is excessive. The same with muscle soreness. Being sore, super normal. Being uncomfortably sore for 4 days, not necessary. It's the concept of no pain, no gain. Throw it out the window. It's garbage. It's garbage. I was a personal trainer before I started teaching pole dance. And when I would train people, and the way that I set up my programs on my website is to allow people the rest that they need so that they don't overtrain their muscles and end up super sore so they have a hard time coming back for that next session. And it can be really challenging for new people because you're new, you're excited, and you just want to get on the pole and learn and do and play and have fun. But you need to warm up. You need to make sure that you rest in between these sessions. So pole dancing every day as a beginner, that is a no. Now there, of course, are exceptions. Maybe you're somebody who's new to pole, but you have been, working out for ages. So your body's going to be used to that kind of demand. You're still going to get sore because the movements that we do on pole are different than like strength training in a gym. So you are going to still probably experience, new muscles I've never felt before. But as a beginner, if you're so bruised that you're making posts on Reddit like, is this normal? No, it's might be considered normal in the pole community, but it's not okay. And we should stop normalizing excessive bruising. What is normal bruising then? Normal bruising might be, a spot here and there. Maybe you worked on a pole climb and so you got a little pole kiss there. That's a pole kiss. Normal. It's okay. It will get better as you start to understand and your body remembers what you're supposed to be doing, how to get in and out of things. Those bruises will go away. Okay, so beginners and bruising, it's a big deal, and a big part of self-care is to recognize when it is excessive bruising, and this can happen to more seasoned pole dancers too. For example, if you're training for a competition or just training for your studio showcase and you're doing it too much, you might feel sore and just worn out and tired. You're training too much. You might have tons of bruises that you normally don't get. You're probably training too much. Okay, so make sure to pay attention to your bruising, to your energy level, and how sore you're feeling. okay? Because it's not bad to be sore. It's just to be so sore that you feel like you can't hardly lift your arm or do anything. That's not necessary. So think about the classes you're taking. Maybe you need to back off and not do so many classes, or yeah. Okay. So if you do find you have bruises, you can, sorry, I'm waiting for my tea to finish steeping. I keep checking my tea. If you do have bruises, what do you do? My favorite thing to do if I get a bruise is I immediately go grab my THC cream. Echinacea cream works good. I've never used it, but people swear by it. I have THC cream, and it is fantastic. I'm telling you, I once used it for a non-pole issue. I went and I hit the right here on my knee. I just banged it right into the corner of a table, and I was like, oh my God, this is going to be a giant bruise. I put the cream on it. I woke up and there was barely even a speck there the next day, and it didn't even hurt. Magic. So if you live in an area where you can get this legally, give it a try. It's fantastic. It's great for like if you feel like you maybe tweaked a muscle or something too. Fantastic. Other things you can do is ice right away, immediately. That will help reduce that bruising because it reduces the inflammation. And we're going to talk a little bit more about inflammation later on. So I'm not going to go too far into the inflammation thing because there'll be more later. All right. So we've got bruising. Covered that. Let's talk about just general self-talk, because that's so there's probably going to be 8 points if I'm going to include bruising. So point number 2 would be self-talk. This is part of your self-care as a pole dancer. And I covered this in episode 3. So if you want to dive deeper into self-talk and how to change your mindset, go check that video out. Here I'm just going to cover a few basic things, and I'm going to take the tea bag out now, so hold on. One second here. So self-talk, some ways to first become aware of it is to just, sorry, I'm going to cover my tea, is to pay attention to the thoughts that are running through your head, to what you say to other people, to what you're posting online. For example, if you talk to somebody in your pole class, or if you're replying to somebody online and they posted a video and they're, struggling, they're talking about how they struggle with, we'll use pole sit again. You might say something like, oh yeah, pole sits always hurt me too. I don't feel like I'm ever going to be able to do them right. That is not positive self-talk, and that is not the kind of thing that you want to repeat in your head. It's going to negatively impact your pole practice and your life. So instead, you say that and you think, oh, that was probably not the best thing to say. Don't feel bad. Don't judge it. Don't feel shame. Just catch it. And then the next time somebody talks about something and you feel like, oh my God, yeah, I feel down or frustrated with it too, stop and think, how can I reframe it in my head to make this a positive twist? So your friend says, oh, pole sits always hurt. I'm never going to be able to do this. Your reply could be, I completely understand. It was frustrating, or it is frustrating for me as well, but I'm working really hard, and I know that my instructor is so helpful that she'll be able to help tweak anything that I'm struggling with. So just changing your mindset of a positive or hopeful outlook can really change the way your pole practice goes. Another way to change your self-talk is to journal. And I talk about this in the other episode 3 as well. Sitting down, there's lots of different ways to journal. You can sit down and just brain dump, like write. Just keep writing until you've just blurted out everything that comes into your head. Doesn't have to be pole related. Might be pole related. You might get a paragraph. You might get 3 to 10 pages depending on your day. That's just one example though. Another example of self-talk and changing your self-talk is mindfulness. And this kind of goes back to the first point of, thinking about what you're saying to other people and to yourself. Mindfulness for me means being present. Being present means that I am not worried about the future and I'm not dwelling and stuck in the past. It's super not easy, and it is a practice. So having a mindfulness practice that you can work on is super helpful. And again, go check out episode 3 for a little bit more in-depth ideas on mindfulness. All right, number 2. Massage is great self-care for pole dancers. I have a fun routine that you guys can do on my website. It is the pole massage routine. It is a way to use your pole to massage all major parts of your body. Yes, you can do that. This is a great thing to do on those days where you want to feel like connected with your pole, or you want to use your pole, but maybe you're just really tired and not feeling it, or you feel sick. You're coming down with something, or you just need a rest, but you still want to get in your pole space or whatever. The pole massage routine is perfect for that because it's relaxing. It feels so good. And I think it's something that every pole dancer should learn how to do. So I'll have the link below if you want to go check out that pole massage. So yes, you can use your pole for things that are not just painful. Another thing that I use all the time is called a peanut. You can also use just a tennis ball or a lacrosse ball, and you can massage any point where a lot of times it's called a trigger point, where you find like a spot, back here there's like a knot, somebody might say. Just take that ball, either lay on the floor or against a wall and get in there. But be warned that with all of the massage techniques, if you massage too hard for too long, it can make it more sore. So just be aware, you don't want to go too crazy and be doing it all day long. Another thing is this. I'm going to call it a massage cane because I forget the name. It looks like a crazy sex toy. I mean, maybe it could be, but this is one of my husband's favorite things. You can sit at your desk and just dig into any spots. You can use it on your lower back, your shoulders, or your sore hamstring. So just use pressure to hit those points. And then, this is kind of a stranger one. So if you are fancy and you can afford a massage chair, those are awesome. I don't have one of those anymore. I do, however, have this thing. It's not plugged in, but these things massage around. And I kept this because it works really good for things like hamstrings and calves that I'm always trying to get my husband to rub. And he just always wants to stay on my lower back. That's fine. I love you, honey. But we exchange massages every single night. And we kind of sometimes half-ass it and just, I sit there and zone out and he sits there and zones out. But every night. So when I really need to dig into my hamstrings, because those are my weak points. My hamstrings are always tight, often angry. I just place that massage thing underneath my thigh and sit and do whatever I need to do. It is fantastic. So I got that at, what was it called? They've closed. Home Goods? No. What was the name of the place, guys? Brain fart. Anyway, I'm pretty sure you can buy them online, and they're usually like that was really cheap. I want to say it was maybe $20, maybe. So that's an option too. I'm gonna go let my dog in. Hold on. All right, where were we? Oh, massage. Obviously, you can get your partner, or you can go to a masseuse if you have the time and the money. So allowing yourself time for massage, super great. My third point that I want to bring up for self-care is rest days. Now, again, for beginners, rest days can be so hard because you're like, I just want to go and do and learn, especially if you're really nailing those moves and having fun. But remember, when you're lifting your body, pole dancing in a way that requires you to hold your body up, or if you're doing strength work with the pole, specifically targeting to build strength, or in the gym, you are breaking down your muscle fibers. That's normal. That's what you want. It's okay. But that's what happens. So if you do not stop and rest and allow your muscles to do their thing and repair, you're just going to be breaking them down, breaking them down, breaking them down, and they're not going to recover like they should, and you won't see that growth and development that you want. So rest, tell yourself, rest is just as important as training. It's equally, if not slightly more, because you also need to make sure that you're getting actual sleep and eating well so that your muscles can rest and recover appropriately. Relaxing can be super challenging for a lot of people, but if you're somebody, and relaxing goes with rest in my mind, if you're somebody who is neurospicy, deals with anxiety or depression, our nervous system, especially if we're going to like a pole class around other people, really takes a beating when you're having to be around normal or having to be normal. I get it. It can really wear you down. So you want your nervous system to also, if you fall into any of these categories, which a lot of pole dancers do, you need to also let your nervous system relax, which means don't come home from pole class and then go watch, a bunch of scary movies or participate in things that stress you out on your rest day or when you're trying to do your active rest or your rest. Find out what types of things allow you to truly just relax and feel like you can be you. You don't have to mask. You don't have to do anything but relax. That might be watching your favorite show. It might be listening to these. It might be going for a walk or coloring. I love to get those adult coloring books, those grown-up coloring books, and do those. Might be painting or doing some other activity that's not physically active. I would suggest staying off of social media because then what can happen is, as pole dancers, we tend to follow a bunch of other pole dancers, and then you're going to see them doing their thing. And depending on your personality, you might start to get frustrated that you're not at that level or that you're not able to practice right now because you should be resting. Social media is just silly. You're watching other people live their lives. Go live your own life and relax. All right? That brings me to number 5, 4. I don't know, 4. We'll call it We'll call it 5 because we included bruising. Remember, bruising was first. Number 5 is social media. This is part of self-care, is taking control of your social media usage. There's so much to this. I'm not sure where I really want to start. So again, if you're somebody who struggles with anxiety, depression, maybe you're neurodivergent, sitting and scrolling through social media, poll, talk, or Instagram, for me is generally not helpful, and it's not motivating. It's actually takes me into a negative space. And this is just something that I found for myself, and it's something that you can play around with and see. Take a break from social media every once in a while. Full on break. Like, don't look at it for a whole day. Can you not look at it for a whole day? If you find it's really difficult, if you find that the second you're not doing anything, you whip out your phone, that's not good. That's your brain is now waiting for hits of dopamine constantly. And if you're a person who has anxiety, depression, neurodivergent, that's not healthy for you. It's not going to help you in any way. If anything, it's going to keep you in that either negative loop or anxiety loop. If you can, put down the phone, go be in real life, because I guarantee you will feel completely different about yourself, your pole skills, your life in general, if you get off of social media and go into your neighborhood, into your community, and actually interact with real people. It's like night and day for me. I might spend time, I have to spend time online because I am an online business. That's part of my job. But I basically post and go, because I found that for me, it's not healthy if I post and stay and scroll. It's not healthy. It's extremely detrimental. So limit your time on social media. See how that makes you feel. And this can be really challenging on those rest days, because you're resting and you're like, well, I got nothing to do. I'm just going to scroll. But do you know how much of your time you're wasting? You don't have much time in this life, and you're wasting hours a day looking at other people. And a lot of what you see isn't even their reality. It's a more jazzy, interesting reality, right? Social media is a love-hate for me. And I know so many people just absolutely adore it. And there are good things. Like, I can interact with you guys and provide these little chats, and my whole studio is online. So I do get the benefit of online interaction. But I also have seen how detrimental it can be for people. So yeah, social media break. Just try it. If you're not sure if it works or not, journal about it. On the days that you do it and don't do it, make sure that you write down how you feel, your energy level, your outlook on things. See if it's easier to come up with gratitude statements on the days that you're not on social media versus the days that you are. And then once you've figured out a good amount of social media time for yourself, go through it and make sure you're following people that provide uplifting content. Don't go and follow all the people that are doomsday and they're like, guess what's happening? The aliens are here. Oh, watch what's going to happen when the next president comes in. There's so much out there that's trying to scare you. Why? Because it works. It keeps our eyes, it keeps our brain coming right back to that. That's exactly what they want. So make sure that the people you are following are people that are going to give back to you some good positive energy and provide that Uplifting. Okay. Yeah, I can take these things and improve my life. So prune your list. Especially now, it's kind of crazy on Instagram. I used to try and follow a lot of people, but I just don't see, I see like the four of the same people over and over and over and over. So it's good to prune and make sure that you are not just following people because you're hoping to get more followers. All right, off that soapbox. Okay, number 6, right? Let's talk about food. So I mentioned briefly foods that can help reduce inflammation will be helpful with bruising. It'll be helpful for recovery. So if you want, I'm going to make a list in the description of some foods that you can use that are good for anti-inflammation. Anti-inflammatory. I love things like ginger. Like I take fresh ginger, I grate it up, and then I put it in a little holder, like tea holder thing, and I push all the juice out into my hot cup of water. That's my tea. I like fresh ginger tea. I also will sometimes do lemon tea. I do lemon or ginger every single day. Lemon or ginger hot water, basically. I call it tea. And the lemon, I literally just heat up water, squeeze a fresh whole entire lemon into it. That's it. No sweetener, no nothing. If you need to, go ahead and use a natural sweetener. Monk fruit is pretty good. But those things help with inflammation. They also help with gut health, and our gut is important because that's kind of where our immune system, is working and lives. So we want to make sure that that's good so that we can keep going to our pole class and our sessions, right? Without being sick and having to call out and miss a class. So make sure that you're eating decent food. We all know that fast food, packaged food, things that come from the freezer, boxes are the foods that cause the most inflammation. And this you might notice a lot in your hands, especially if you're new. You're going to get stiff fingers. If you're somebody who's older and you have arthritis, this is even more important because you don't want to end up making it worse. So you want to make sure that you are eating properly, resting enough, and training in a progressive way so you're not just like slamming your body into these difficult moves, okay? So you need to progress gradually. Your body will thank you for it. And if you want to know how to do that, I can help you. All right, number 7, heat. Oh, how I love heat. Heat is my friend. So, as far as heat goes, it can be used for injuries, but the way that I use it is it's kind of a daily relaxation for me. And I'll get back to the injury in just a second. Use. I take a bath almost every single day, sometimes twice a day. It's okay, my bathtub's small. I can serve water. But it is a time, it's almost a sacred time for me. And I've done this since I was a kid. Like, bath time is me time. I can close the door, nobody else is there. I'm warm and I feel comfortable and relaxed. So that is my me time. I might listen to a meditation, or if I'm not doing that, then I'm definitely listening to music that is uplifting. So nothing that's I don't sit there and listen to like, somebody singing very angrily about something that's bothering them or something, along that lines, because that's going to bring me down. I want to boost up because I am somebody that has dealt a lot with depression since forever. I found that just letting myself be involved with these uplifting is huge game changer. Okay, so hot bath, hot shower, if you have access to a sauna or a hot tub. And then these can be great tools that you use to warm your body for flexibility training. I used to do this all the time back when I was really targeting my flexibility. I would get in a bath, hot as I can make it. Like my skin would be red when I got out. But I wasn't in there for very long, just long enough that I definitely was sweating. I felt hot and ready, hot and ready. And I would start my flexibility session. I don't do that so much anymore. Most of the time in the evenings, I'm practicing guitar, and then I take my bath. And then we do our evening stuff together, my husband and I. But yes, a hot bath really can work to warm yourself up for a nice flexibility session. Now, if you want to do, say, stretching on a rest day, that's okay, because in my mind, stretching and flexibility training are two different things. Stretching is just holding a pose. It might feel nice, like this is stretching. It feels good, it's gentle. That's stretching. That's something I also do in between reps when I'm lifting weights to keep things more flexible. Flexibility training for me is actual training. So I never do flexibility training on a rest day. I do it on the same day that I am doing my strength work, or on a day that is not a rest day. Because if you are training to gain increased flexibility, you're working hard. You shouldn't just be doing static holds. You need to really be working hard and using all the different methods that are out there. I provide this for you if you're not sure what these methods are. I'll have a link down below that you can learn more about how I teach stretching and flexibility training, because it is a little bit different than other people. So heat is fantastic for that. Now back to heat and injury. So if you have injured yourself, an acute injury or an injury that's kind of been lingering. I have a childhood or a teenage injury where this shoulder, I was involved in a car accident. I was the passenger in the back seat. The car, our car was going this way. The car that hit us was coming that way. I got hit and smashed into the door, and everybody smashed into me. And so this shoulder does not have the range of motion that the other shoulder, or didn't. It's pretty good now, because it can improve. But heat, especially after your pole session, can just feel so good. It brings blood flow back to that area. So things like I broke this pinky walking my dog. Heat feels so good. The only things I've ever broken are this pinky and my toes. But my toes, if they get cold, they just ache and they hurt, and heat fixes it right up. But there are different types of heat, so keep that in mind, because not every type of heat works for every injury. So you've got your dry heat, that's like sauna and a heating pad. Those can be good, but for some people it works better to have moist heat, like a bath or a hot tub. So just kind of keep in mind, like make note of what works for you, and go from there. Now, using heat after an acute injury, acute means like suddenly, say you fell doing a move, God forbid, or you like whacked your arm on the pole and you're like, that is definitely going to bruise. Well, what you're going to do right away is, I'm going to ice it immediately, and then I'm going to put on my cream of choice, whether it's THC, echinacea, whatever, to reduce inflammation and bruising. Then, later on, you can apply heat. From that point on, it's heat. I know a lot of people are like, use the rice method, always ice, elevate ice. But I only use ice immediately after an acute injury, and for about no more than 20 minutes, like 10 to 20 minutes. And then after that, I use whatever cream. I will take something that helps with inflammation. That is natural. I don't do Advil or anything like that. Internally, so I will take something, usually herb based, we'll say. And from that point on, I try and keep it elevated, and then it's heat. Okay? And that works so much better than always putting ice on the injury, because you need blood flow, especially to things like fingers, toes, areas that don't get a lot of blood flow can really benefit from heat. Last, we'll talk about cold. So self-care and cold. It's very popular right now to do the whole cold plunge thing. It can be super good for people who have anxiety and depression. Studies have shown that it really does help with that kind of thing. However, I did also read that if you are somebody who is trying to gain muscle mass or gain strength, that you need to be careful, because it can actually hinder growth in that respect. So again, this is something that you need to journal, you need to monitor, and decide for you, is it helpful or is it maybe not so beneficial? I did try doing cold therapy off and on. I'm not a fan. That doesn't mean it doesn't work. And I get that it can probably boost your dopamine and stuff, but I just like other methods. The cold makes me so anxious. The cold makes me anxious. It's not my thing. And I get that it works well for other people. And if it works for you, please keep doing it. But also monitor and see, maybe if you are trying to gain strength and you're doing cold plunges and you're not seeing the progression that you like, eliminate it and see if that helps, or do less cold plunge. And as far as icing, again, after an acute, sudden injury, get that ice on it right away. And then once you're done, get rid of it and go to heat. Heat and gentle movements. Don't keep that injury stiff for too long. You want to start moving it as soon as you can, but within a comfortable range of motion, if that makes sense. Anyway, I'm going down a completely different path than I wanted, so we won't continue on injury here. But yeah, those are my self-care tips. Enjoy some tea. It's one of my favorite things. And another thing I like to do is when I make my tea, it's my short little me time. And what I mean by that is I don't have my phone playing a podcast. I don't have my phone playing, TV. I am just present. I'm heating my water. I cheat and use a microwave. I should probably just heat it on the stove, but whatever. I am getting out, choosing the tea that I want. Maybe it's using the grater to do ginger or squeezing the lemon, and just take time to smell the lemon. Oh, it smells so good. Smell the ginger. It's incredible. Be present for that brief little moment in time, and it can just boost your spirit. Go outside, put down your phone, talk to your neighbor, talk to the person at the grocery store who's checking out your stuff. Although most places you got to do it yourself now. But if you can, go to a real person and chat with them. Connect with real people in your real life. So I will see you next time. Again, if you have suggestions, please let me know. And I would love to hear from you. I will catch you next week. Bye.